Okay, good morning. So, all of you, please be ready to solve a design problem on T-beams. Okay, so today we'll do design problem, and tomorrow we'll probably do, if possible, we do a analysis problem of the same thing. Okay, so just have a look at this, and we'll start doing the problem. Details that are given to you is this is actually a beam cast integrally with the slab. Okay, so this is cast integrally or monolithically. Okay, CAST, cast integrally, meaning that no, you actually have a rectangular beam and it's cast integrally with the slab, and we want to design it by taking advantage of this slab portion also. We want to take the contribution of the top slab portion as well in resisting the moment which is required to be resisted. Okay, so we want to resist 800 kilonewton meter. Of course, moment is directly given to us, so no problem. If moment was not directly given and instead only the load was given, then you'll have to find use the load. You'll have to use the overall span, find effective span, and then you'll have to you have to apply the factor, then find the factor moment, and then you'll have to use it. But in this case, directly the moment is given to us because already for doing the singly reinforced and doubly reinforced beam problems, I've told you given a load how to find the moment which is to be designed for. So I do not want to actually repeat that step over here. So directly I've given what's the moment that is required to be resisted for this T-beam. Grade of concrete and steel are given. Span is given for a different reason, I'll tell you that. And the dimensions of the slab, and then the overall beam and the width of this width of the web. Okay, this is called the width of the web, and this is the depth of the flange. So this is df, this is b small w, and this is b. Okay, the sorry, not small d, big D. Okay, so these are the things that are given to us. First thing that you want to find is one of the dimensions is not given to us is how much is what should I use as the width of the flange. Okay, what is the width of the flange that I have to use? That is the actual question that is present to us. Right? It is not given to us in the question. Sometimes it may be given, but whether it is given or whether it is not given, you will have to do one check at first. First, you will have to check what is the effective width of the flange BFE. Okay, so this formula is given to you in your code book. So you can open your code book and you can have a look at it. So the formula goes like this. You've already seen it. For a T-beam which is not isolated, the formula is L0 by 6 plus BW plus I think D by how much? 6 DF. Okay, just find this. Let me just verify it once. I don't remember this is 12 or 6. Just hold on. But anyway, just find this out. So this is the first thing that you have to find. Let me keep IS456 open. Just for reference. Okay, yeah, the formula is correct. So the formula is present in page 37 of your code book. It's class number 23.1.2. Class 23.1.2 in IS456. Okay, so this is the effective width of your flange. How much do you get? Of course, L0 you should make it into millimeters, then you should find it. BW is given, DF is given, everything is there. How much do you get? Oh, it's given, BF is given. Anyway, find BFE. How much do you get for BFE? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So 2.06 meters.
2.06
meters.
2.06 meters. Okay. You get 2.06 meters. This is actually more than what you have, 1.5 meters. So what it is that the actual BF is given to us. So this is 1500 given in the question. And the effective one which we got is more than what is actually provided. So therefore you can choose what is actually provided itself. So you can adopt 1.5 meters itself as the effective width of your flange. There will be some situations where you may be given a very wide flange in the question, and when you find BFE, it will come lesser than what is actually given to you. In such a case, you should not use what is given. You should not use this, and you should use what you found. If what is given is more than the effective. Okay, so that you have to first be careful, and this is the first thing that you have to do when you are given a flange review problem. So proceeding further, first thing that we want to find is, see, we do not know what is XU, and all those things we have to find out. It's given to us in the question that 650 is the overall depth. So let me assume that effective depth is effective depth D with a cover of or an effective cover of 50 mm. Then my effective D, the D becomes 50 minus 50, 600 mm. But I'm just assuming this. 50 mm is usually a reasonable assumption for effective cover for any beam. Okay, so it's something that you can use by default, whether it's singly reinforced, doubly reinforced, or flange section, whatever it is, you can use 50 mm by default for any moderate exposure conditions for effective cover, not clear cover. Okay, so this is there, and the first thing that we want to do is we'll find what is, because any beam we design should be balanced or under reinforced. So we'll first find out what is XU max, which is given to us as grade of steel is Fe415. So point how much is the factor for Fe415?
0.48.
0.48. Yeah, come again.
0.48 D.
0.48. Okay. For voice is very feeble. 0.48 D. D is 600. So 0.48 D is how much?
288.
288. Okay. And this VC is definitely greater than DF. Okay. So definitely my my flange does not I'm sorry. So this tells me that neutral axis is not within flange. Because XU is greater than the DF. So this is not good news for us, because if it was within the flange, we can just do 0.36 FCKB into XU, D minus 0.46. You design it as a rectangular beam and we could have just finished the job. But unfortunately, that's not the case. So therefore, we have to actually check at least if. Oh, sorry, this is XU max. Sorry. Sorry, please forget what I just said. This is XU max, no? So it doesn't matter. Let's just leave it at this. I'm sorry for writing that statement. Okay, we do not know the actual XU. This is only XU max. Okay, it's only XU max, it's not XU. XU we have to find actually. we have to find what is XU. So the thing is, if it is so one thing you can assume is we have the moment given to us, which is 800 kilonewton per meter. This is the moment which is given to us in the question. Okay, and our XU should be such that when we calculate the moment, it should be capable of resisting this 800 kilonewton per meter. Okay, so that is what that is how the XU should be. Okay, we do not know it yet. We cannot use 0.87 Fy AST divided by 0.36 FCKB because it is not actually a rectangular section, it is a T section. So we cannot directly use that. So we'll have to try from the simplest assumption to the most complicated assumption one by one. There are three of them. One is if it's a rectangle, can be considered as a rectangle, that is the easiest assumption. The second easiest assumption is we assume that the depth of the flange is entirely within the rectangle of the stress block. The most horrible assumption is some of the flanges in the rectangle, some of the flanges in the parabola. So three easy to hard cases you have. So we'll try one by one. First thing we'll assume is XU is equal to DF or within DF. Okay. If this is the case, you can treat it as a rectangular section. Okay, if this is the case. Okay, this is 100 mm. Okay, so will this be enough for us? This is what we want to check. Okay, so how to check it is pretty easy. Our moment which we want to resist is 800 kilonewton meter. So I have that moment between 800 kilonewton meter equals, and for this assumption we treat it as a rectangular section. So therefore, if it was a rectangular section, what do? We'll just do 0.36 FCKB into XU into D minus 0.416 XU. Okay, so over here whatever is given to us is, okay, we have 0.36, FCK is known, B is known, B, this is what BF. Okay, maybe I'll draw it once so that you don't get confused. Okay, this is the stress block, this is the section. So we are first looking at the case where this flange is entirely within this, the nucleus is entirely within the flange. So it's entirely within the flange, and because of that we just use the rectangle formula, because no, whatever is within here, no. So whatever is there within the nucleus is it's just a rectangle. It's a rectangle of depth XU and width BF. Okay, so those things alone we substitute over here, and D is obviously D. Okay, this the whole probability here is D. Okay, that is our 600 which is given to us. So we just find this one out and see whether it is at least 800 into 10 power 6. Okay, so 0.36, 25 FCK concrete, BF is 1500, XU we have made the assumption it is BF, so therefore it is 100. D is 600, 0.416 times 100 is 41.6. Okay, so do you get at least 800 if you do this calculation? How much do you get? Check whether you get at least 800 if you under this assumption of XU being DF. It's just simple calculation, just to do it.
So I'm getting 753.
753. Okay, others? Others, how much do you get? Somebody else, please tell me what.
753.84.
753. Okay. So you get 753 kilonewton meter only. You do not get 800. Okay. So we say that XU being DF. If you make a design such that XU equals DF, it will not be sufficient for this moment. So we have to try something else, some other assumption. The second easiest assumption that we can make is that XU XU is greater, yeah. The next thing that we check is XU is greater than 7/3 of DF, which means the flange entirely in rectangle of stress block. Okay, flange is entirely within the rectangle of the stress block, meaning that probably if I write once more here, just to rekindle your memory, I have the T section and my stress block is like this, where probably something like this, where this flange is entirely in the rectangle, it is not in the parabola. Okay, so if this happens when XU is at least 7/3 DF or more than 7/3 DF. So with this assumption, we can make one more attempt. So if this is the case, according to our code book, we have one quantity called YF. YF will be equal to DF if flange is entirely within the rectangle of the stress block. Okay, this is empirical formula. I told this when I was covering the theory. So you have this quantity called DF, which will be you have quantity called YF, which equals DF if it's in the rectangle, equals some other formula, given the 0.15 XU plus 0.65 DF. So there's a formula which equals YF in case some of the flanges in the rectangle, some of the flanges in the parabola. Okay, so anyway, now we are looking at entirely in the rectangle, and for this we have to find out our moment. So what we do is, so we have to first check this. How much is first of all 7/3 DF?
233.3.
233. Okay, let's keep it as 233 mm. Okay, so now we will take this for XU and you will find out what the moment comes. Only thing is, previously you were able to use this formula because you were able to take that the entire beam is actually like a rectangle. But now this neutral axis has come below over here. Okay, so you do not have just a rectangle to worry about, you have two things to worry about. So you'll have a slightly bigger formula to find the moment. Okay, so you'll have a component of, so this is BW, and the remaining part you have BF minus BW. Okay, both of these put together. So you're going to treat your beam as two things: a part composed of BF minus BW width, another part composed of BW width. So that your moment equation will actually be dependent on this. Okay, so I'll just write it down. So your moment of resistance mu is given as, I'll tell you what these things are. Compression in the web into D minus 0.416 XU. Okay, compression in the web minus D minus 0.416 XU plus compression in the flange into D minus YF by 2. Okay, this whole thing gives you what is the moment for this case. Now, what is the meaning of this expression? It's actually very simple. It just tells you that you have one rectangular beam like this. Okay, you have a rectangular beam like this, not like this, probably like this. You have a rectangular beam like this. Okay, and that is given by, you see here you have the same thing as a rectangle beam equation, d minus 0.416 XU. Okay, so this part says it consists of the moment resisted by this part of the T section. Okay, and then you also have something else which is given by this. This second term gives you what is the moment resisted by these two parts of the T section. Okay, this is the way to remember it. It's, once you know what this means, it is very easy to recollect it. And based on this, you'll be able to guess what this CUW, etc. are. So I'll just, CUW is given, CUW is given by nothing but 0.36 FCK BXU. That's it. The same thing as, so if you actually put this together, you will get the same equation which you had over here. Okay, and then similarly CUF. If you see CUF, if you see this whole thing is in the, what is this value of stress? How much is this? In terms of FCK, how much FCK is this?
0.446.
0.446 FCK. So that number will, because the whole flange lies in the rectangle, your stress is 0.446 FCK. Okay, into you do not have BF because sorry, this is BW. So the remaining part of the flange is BF minus BW. BF minus BW, and instead of XU you will have YF. Okay, so this is what you have. So it's pretty, it's not very difficult to do. So what I would probably first want you to do is just get this in, you have XU equals, you have assumed it as 233. Okay, but anyway, first just find this thing in terms of XU. How much XU is CUW, and similarly CUF is how much XU. And I'll probably write the terms. FCK is 25, BW is 1500, XU, no, you don't write it in terms of XU. Again 25, BF minus BW will be 1500 minus, or I'll write it 1500 minus 300, and YF is BF, which is 100. Okay, so this is what I want. I want what these are.
Sir, BW 300 in the CUW, sir.
BFS? Right, it's sorry. BW is 300. Thank you. Now correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sorry, இங்க XU வராது. Actually speaking, retain this also in terms of YF. I'll tell you the reason later. Okay, this is in terms of XU, this is in terms of YF. Yeah. So just give me what these numbers are. Just tell it a bit quickly because the third case, we will be going to the third case, and the third case will take a bit of time. So because of that, I want this answer a bit quick. How much is CUW in terms of XU? Well, no, it's a small multiplication. No, tell no, 0.36 into 25 into 300 is how much?
2,700.
2007?
700.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, maybe, okay. How about this 25 into 0.446 in 2200?
So
13,380.
How much?
13,380.
14,
13,380.
13,380, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 13,380. So, okay, fine. More or less 13,380 only. Okay, so you got these two things. Now what you can just retain it like this, and you'll be using these two terms in the next third case also. That's why I wanted you to retain it in terms of XU and YF. Anyway, now continuing with continuing with the second part. So we have for this case of for XU greater than 7 by 3 df, YF equals 100, and we are taking this as 233. Okay, so just substitute these numbers into CUW you found, so you can find out what is CUW for this particular case, what is CUF for this particular case, and consequently you can find out what is MU. Okay, so just substitute XU over here, 233. Here you can substitute 100, and whatever you get over this, you just substitute this whole thing into CUW, and whatever you get over here, you can substitute into CUF. Again, DU is 600, XU for this case will be 233, D is 600, YF is 300. Okay, the big two. Okay. For YF by 2. Okay, simple substitutions. Substitute XU to find CUW, substitute YF to find CUF, then substitute CUW and CUF into the equation for moment. And so tell one by one, or at least you can tell me what is at least you can tell me what the moment is. Though I prefer getting each of it. CUW, CUF, and MU.
CUW is 62.9 into 10 power 4.
62.9 into 10 power 4. 62.9 newtons. That means 629 kilonewton. kilonewton, huh? In that case.
Yes, sir. It will be 629 kilo. 629.9.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe it is. Let's see. How about CUF? I think 1,33,800. No, means 133. No, the
1338 kilonewton.
1338 kilonewton. No, 800 no 1338 kilonewton. Sorry, parvala. So MU, how much will you get in that case when you substitute 629 into CUW? Not 629, 629 into 10 power 3. Okay, because this is in kilonewtons. And here you substitute 133,800 for CUF. And these things are there, then you can find what MU is. You can express it in kilonewton meter. How much is moment MU? How much is MU? If anybody's done it, please tell me now.
918.5 kilonewton meter, sir.
918.5. Okay. Anybody else gets 918? 600. Okay. Ayyo, sorry. You people could have already identified the mistake now. Look what I've written for YF. So YF is 100, no, I wrote wrongly, I wrote there 300. Okay, sorry for that. Recalculate MU. MU.
Sir, I'm getting 1052.
1000?
52.
1052.
1052. Okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we obtained in this case, if this was the XU, if the XU was such that it is at 7/3 df, then our moment of resistance would be 1052, which is much greater than what we require. Okay, so at this stage, depending on what kind of a person you are, you can say that, okay, we have the capacity of our beam will be much more than what we require. Let us go ahead with this itself. So you can actually stop at this point and say, no, this is very good. We have a very safe beam. Let us stop with this and use this. But this is a class, and you still need to know how to approach the third case in case you're supposed to approach it. So let us say that you are a designer who does not want to waste material. Okay, he wants 800 kilonewton means he wants it to be somewhat very much close to that. The capacity to be much close to that itself. Okay, so say that you're such a type of person and you're not happy with 1052. You're saying it's a waste of material providing such a, by giving such much more resistance to the beam than what is actually required. So in that case, we see that if we are XU is DF, it's not sufficient. If XU is more than 7/3 DF, it is too much. So to have an exact design, for closer design, you would require a case where DF is lesser than XU, which is lesser than 7/3 DF, in which case YF will be 0.15 XU plus 0.65 DF. Okay, so we have tried this limit, it was too less. You tried this limit, it was too much. So now we had to actually calculate XU based on some calculations. Okay, so what we do is we actually proceed with this and we find out XU in terms of the equations which we just found above. Okay, so what was our equation? We had CUW is 2. This is why I told you to retain it in XU and YF. Okay, so only thing is now we have CUW is 2700 XU and CUF is 13380 YF. But what is YF? YF is 0.15 XU plus 0.65 DF. Okay, so you actually have it like this now. It's a pretty big equation, which is not very nice to look at. I mean, it's not become big yet, it's going to become big. So I have everything in terms of XU. Of course, what you can do is 0.65 DF is something which is known to you. So 0.65 times 100, I can just rewrite this as 65. Okay, 0.65 times 100. So these are the things you have. And moment equation is this big equation which was shown over here. Only thing is, these two cases you adopted XU and you found out MU. Okay, in this case also you adopted XU is 100 You found out mu, found it was, and you knew it came out that it's too less. In this case also, you assume that XU is 233 or 7/3 df, and for that you found out what is the moment you are getting, and you found out it is quite high, unnecessarily high. So in this case, what you're going to do, you're going to say that okay, I want close to 800, so you will fix the moment as 800 and try to find out what XU is based on the equation. So your mu, which is 800 into 10 power 6, should be equal to that given by this equation, except everything is retained in terms of XU. Okay, so CUW is 2700 XU. I'll have to write this a bit carefully. So let's see, 2700 XU times D minus 0.416 XU, which is 600 minus 0.416 XU. Okay, that's the CUW part. Then you have this part, which is where is it? Okay, so I can actually simplify this to 13380 into 0.15 XU plus 65. Okay, and into how much is this? Yeah, into I have D minus YF by 2. So D minus, okay, YF by 2. So 0.15 XU by 2 is 0.075 XU minus, I think this by 2 will be 32.5. Okay, it's a very tedious equation. Okay, you'll have to actually combine all the XU terms. But so I'm not going to ask you to do it now. I'll give you the final result itself of this equation. Only thing that I'll ask is what do you think is the order of this equation by looking at this? What is the order of the equation in XU?
Second order.
Yeah, it's quadratic. It will be quadratic in XU. So you will just have to simplify this and you will have to solve for XU. So assuming that we do all that, finally we end up with XU. You find out XU, you find out that it is equal to 116 mm. Okay, it comes as 116 mm. Just check that it is under reinforced. What was at XU max? XU max is 288. It's very much under reinforced. No issue. It's very much lesser than XU max. So therefore, under reinforced. So what you find is DF is 100. 7/3 DF is 233. So the actual thing what we need is just a little bit more than DF. Okay, we just need a little bit. The meter axis is just a little bit below DF, and once you do that, you're able to get you're able to design it for almost 800 mm itself, 800 kilonewton meter itself. So this is what you get for this thing, and of course you can based on this you can recalculate what is YF. Okay, you just substitute it back into this. So YF equals 0.15 times 116 plus 65. So how much is this?
$82.4.
82.43. Okay, so YF also you found, and so yeah, XU is found, YF is found. So only thing is, okay, right? You found out XU. So is this the end of the problem? No, we have it's not. It's just a step to the design. This is not our design. So what? So we have all the design means finding the dimensions, grade, and all those things. So we have everything here. We have dimensions. We have dimension of the flange. We have dimension of the web. Okay, grade of concrete steel are already given to you. What is the one thing that is missing to us? What have we not found yet?
Area of steel.
Area of steel has not been found. That is the important thing. and it is for the area of steel that you require XU. Without XU, you cannot find the area of steel. That's why we have done all these things to find XU. Okay. Only thing you should remember is our normal equation, no? The 0.87 FYAST into D minus 0.416 XU. Okay. Or even this one, PT equals to 50 FCK by Fy into 1 minus root of 1.4.519. So you have this equation, no? So you cannot use these two equations. Okay. The reason that you cannot use these two equations is because your depth is not uniform till the level of steel. You do not have a uniform width. Okay. Here it is different. Here it is different. Okay. So you cannot use this equation to find the area of steel. So there's another way to find it. You find steel based on equilibrium. Finding steel based on equilibrium, which is quite simple actually. You just equate the compressive and tensile forces. What do I mean by equating the compressive and tensile forces? I just equate this force with this force. Okay, so C we know, we can just calculate C. Cu is nothing but CUW plus CUF. Okay, CUW plus CUF, which is 2700 times. Just keep doing it as I do it because we are almost out of time. And 13380 into IF. Okay, so this is compression force. Tensile forces, obviously that's what we are going to find. 0.87 into Fy is 415 into AST. AST is what we are going to find. So how much is this? How much is this in terms of AST? How much is the compressive force? CUW plus CUF. Quick, 2700 into 116 plus 13,318 to 82.43. How much is it? This will be 360.9. How much is this? Come on, quick.
One four 16113.
How much?
1416113.
1416?
113.
11416, sir.
113.
Still from the beginning to start.
So 1416.
1416. Okay.
11.
416 113. Yeah, okay. Correct, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So just C equals to T means AST equals 1416113 by 360.9. How much is AST?
$3922.2.
Okay, 3922 mm square. So this is quite a big number. So the best option to give for this is about 5 numbers of quite a big diameter, 32 mm diameter. giving you AST is 4020 mm square, and you can also find out the percentage of steel. Okay, for this thing, only thing in finding percentage of steel, remember that it's not a rectangle, so it's, you have to find BF minus BW times this depth of the flange, and then you'll have to add it with BW times D. Okay, and then based on that only you can find the percentage of steel. Okay, so if you do that, you get about 0.427%, and I know definitely this will be lesser than PT limit. Okay, PT limit obviously you can check from SP 16 1980. Okay, so this is how you do this kind of a problem. So finally, this is what my beam would look like. Okay. Only thing is we have 5 numbers of 32 mm diameter bars. With this 300, you can give all the 5 in this itself, within one line itself. Sometimes if the width is not sufficient, what people will do is, if the width is not sufficient, sometimes what people do is they will keep it in 2 rows. Okay, they may keep it in 2 rows as it is. Of course, they have to make sure that this spacing is not too much. But this case we can just leave it like this. So this is, so 5 numbers of 32 diameter. This is 1500. So it's 100, 300, and this remaining part is 100. 550. Okay. 550. Okay. So any design you do, you should always follow it up with a cross-sectional drawing. Okay, at least the cross-section trying to tell what the beam looks like. So this is flange section. It's big. It is a bit. It's a long procedure. Okay, unless you are lucky that you get it, it clicks in this step itself. Okay, in that case you are lucky. You are at least somewhat okay if it clicks in this step. And in case you have to move to this step, then you are unfortunate. You will have to solve a very big quadratic equation, and then you'll have to find it. Okay, so this is the thing. You check one by one. You check whether it can be treated as a rectangular section. If you cannot, then you go to the next simplest case where you treat it such that the depth of a flange is inside the rectangle of the stress block itself. In which case you can, your YF and those things are known to you, so you can just assume it and find out. If still that does not also click to you, then you have no other option but to check the case where the depth of the flange is partially in the rectangle of the stress block and partially in the parabola of the stress block. Okay, in which case you have this equation of YF, then you will probably use in terms of XU and obtain XU to get the remaining things. Finding the area of steel, you do not use this formula because it's not a full rectangle. So you have the other option is to equate C and D to get the area of steel. And remember, the moment equation for the second and third options is composed of one part for the moment resisted by the web and another part for the moment resisted by the remaining part of the flange. Okay, so these are the meanings of this. I'll stop with this. Okay, and tomorrow we'll probably do an analysis problem on flanged beam in LSM itself. So usually I used to do this also for WSM flange section, but in the interest of time I'm omitting that for you. Okay, since we started late and all. So tomorrow we'll do that, and if possible we'll start a one-way slab problem tomorrow. Otherwise we'll see it next week. Okay, so I'll stop with this. So we'll meet again tomorrow. I'm not taking any questions now. Okay, bye. I'm ending the meeting now. Stop recording.